small technical work to be done on the manuscript. A few small corrections. This is not the final cover. This is a proof cover, but it should be quite soon that this will be available for sale to subgeniuses and even non-subgeniuses around the world.
And this is the very first time that I've ever met Reverend Kingsley in person, even though I've been reading his stuff on Slack and everything else for 15 years or so, it seems like.
Absolutely.
Hi, Reverend Kingsley.
Hi, Reverend Kingsley.
Yay,
Hey, what time is it
Reverend
where you
Kingsley.
Hello.
Yeah, what time is it over there, man?
20 to 6.
Question in the chat real quick and say that you're on the West Coast, right, Pocos? You're on Pacific time.
Yes.
No, I'm Reverend Kingsley. What time is it where you are?
We should eat
20
those
minutes to
mushrooms
6.
to get to the rupture about like.
So actually, you're about to get ruptured any minute, right?
Oh, about an hour. Yeah.
Live it up, man.
We're going to get to watch him get ruptured first, since we don't have anyone on the island of Togo. It was already 7 o'clock then.
They have a great rugby team.
Do they?
They do.
Nice.
Okay, so if Kingsley is still there in half an hour.
Does
Well, we
not
don't
bode well.
Susie,
Not a good
I love your
start.
I'd be
background.
using metric time.
Metric time? Oh yeah, I guess that's different.
I also use metric time. Metric time is the best time. 24
Yeah.
hours.
The revolutionary clock of the
4
French Terror, they might be using that for all we know.
Yeah, we're still pretty backwards here.
Mhm.
We measure everything in thumbs.
Sakamoto, shame on you.
Sending another link.
Chili.
You are now live again.
Chili.
Susan is watching us.
Half
The
pound to get
secret
paid.
ingredient
on
to
that thing.
Lemurian chili, which is the region around here, Lemurian chili includes a small amount, not a big ball of it, just a little bit, enough to put over your thumbnail of used coffee grounds.
Oh.
Put that in your chili. It makes it a lot darker in color. It makes it more bitter, which can counter how tomatoes can be a little sweet or onions can be a little sweet. The coffee puts in some
Put
bitter.
tomatoes in my chili.
There you go.
I just use chilies.
Just eat a bowl of coffee grounds, used coffee grounds,
I also
every
just
15 minutes
Coffee
until
grounds.
next day.
Well, no.
The coffee grounds do
Coffee
it.
ground.
Just the beta male cucks. What you got to do is just eat the coffee beans and
Eat
grind
the
them
coffee
and
beans right out the
spit
civets.
them out into whatever device you're going to use to make coffee. That's how you grind coffee like a man.
That's right, in your teeth.
Yeah.
You get somebody else's teeth and you grind the coffee in your hands at the camp. Nobody's gonna fuck with you if you do that.
Someone's dentures.
That's right. Just pull them, yank them right out of their head. Give me that, you old man. I'm making some coffee.
I don't know.
Right.
Dentures are pretty fragile. I mean, I don't think you could grind cotton. You might break the dentures.
Well, then you just need a new person to steal their dentures from. That's
Well,
why
I think the easiest thing to do would just be force the coffee into someone else's mouth and then make them chew it up.
chew up that coffee.
Look up a video from Cinnamon Toast Ken about sock coffee.
Oh,
Yeah, people who make coffee, extreme cheapskates who use a sock as the filter.
that
Cum sock, though?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
What if they use the cum sock, though?
I use
No.
Then you can make a soap out of it.
Hey, you gotta use the peas cum sock.
it's not right.
It gives a whole new meaning.
Gives it a corny kind of a taste.
It's more of a salty
Does it-
kind of a
I'd
taste.
say
Does it
cheese
really?
is good. Don't you think it'd be more like an aged, like a good,
Salty milk and pennies.
good French table cheese, like a Gruyere or a Brie? I think
Right.
that'd be really bad. This puppy wants to say hello to everybody.
Oh, Onan! Yeah, that's right when Pastor Craig was about to get his poor collarbone.
It's a
fucked up.
puppy.
It's a little puppy.
No, the whole
There's moments before the incident.
There's 8 more, or there's 7 more of them.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I have a
amazing.
copy of that one,
A
too.
lot of puppies.
Is that a
I
new
do
one?
too.
They all have their homes though. They're going home next week. Most of them. A couple of them are still staying until they go home, but most of them are going home next week.
How can you bear to part with them?
It's pretty hard. I love them so. I don't love getting woken up at 4:30 in the morning by them, but I do love them.
God,
They're pretty cute. They're pretty cute. They're about as cute as your kitties, Stang.
I saw Dolomite.
About as
sleeping
cute as
over
they
there.
want to be.
I saw
Stang, I
Dolomite.
put a link in the chat. We're live on YouTube again, but I've got everybody in Brady Bunch mode, so hopefully no content issues.
Did you
So,
give me Dan
I
hair?
have been-
I will not
worry about
consent to
that.
my image being in Brady Bunch format without Jan hair.
I have been
Somebody show
so tempted.
tits.
I've been so tempted this whole time to ruin the live streams by going nude on the live stream.
Well, what's stopping?
But I was concerned that maybe Zoom would have a problem with that, and then I found this article. Zoom is allegedly cracking down on nudity following reports that users have been organizing orgies and sex parties during COVID-19 quarantine. So I didn't want to get the whole thing shut down. So yeah.
Well,
I didn't
thank
want to
you for
ruin our
that.
whole,
I think that's if Susan detects booty on a stream, she shuts.
Well, I
it
don't
down
care
real
about your
quick.
live stream. I just don't want to shut down the Zoom meeting.
plan.
I mean,
Here's my
Sister
to-do.
Decadence broke that barrier.
no
Yes.
idea where
Yes.
I'm glad I opened
Slowly
up
but
first.
surely,
Oh,
all of us
it's
lose a
all good,
piece of
Pepper.
clothing. You've all been given a card. Never mind. Sorry.
but it was where I was watching Cosmax stream, and whatever he's watching, that triggered the copyright strike. And then I see
That makes
Susan
sense.
just cut the stream off. I'm like, oh shit.
Who is Susan?
Susan
Is
Wojcicki,
Susan
she's the CEO of YouTube.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she
Okay.
literally sits at home and monitors every single stream all day long.
Just Rocknars.
Especially this one.
Okay, now this is
Especially
this is a
Rocknars.
super duper subgenius artifact. This is a single copy. I'm sure that no other copy remains.
Hey,
This
Susie,
is
nice tits.
the set list from the 1985 Subgenius Scary Ball in Dallas, Texas, with notations from Doctors for Bob
Nice.
written on it. Yep.
Is
There you
that
go.
forwards or backwards?
It is in the backwards dimension.
Is that written in Janer's blood?
It is written in Janer's blood. This is-
I have a collection of set lists that I've collected from X-Day stages and Devival stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Reverend Stang might also have this. I'll say that there is one back.
I might. Something like it won't be exactly the same as that one. And actually, I bet you that was the only one. That was Doctors for Bob, right?
That was Doctors for Bob on the last show, the last thing that Buddy Jesus did with them. He was the drummer. And as far as I understand it, he said, this is too weird. And that was the end of that.
Well, Buddy Jesus actually became kind of a Christian.
Okay,
And
well, good for him.
He felt like he couldn't do the why not both thing,
Oh yeah.
as some people can do, but not many, actually. By the way, Reverend Negative, we never met before.
Hey, how's it going, bud?
Stuff on our Slack and
thank you. I appreciate that.
recently, and I just want to say hi. Thanks for all the music and stuff.
You know it. Dr. Reverend Negative is rad.
Reverend Negative has the best worst show on FTR.
Word.
Thank you.
We have I have a lot of stuff left that I haven't played yet, so that's to come.
Actually, Reverend Dr. Katana 007 from the Sub G Kids, our band, she's going to be here later tonight.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, good old Katana. Woohoo.
See, I wouldn't know if they were here because I don't know what they look like, and everybody uses different names every time.
Oh,
What was that, Al?
And I've got Alzheimer's. I'm just assuming. It's not real bad yet.
What was that,
So-
Al?
That's an ancient and somewhat rare subgenius catalog.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Anyone recognizes this?
Some subgeniuses have Falzheimer's.
Falzheimer's?
Yeah.
This is, they remember
What's
a little differently than everybody else.
I have
Badge of
good
boldness.
timers.
That's awesome.
I only have good times.
Oh, what a beautiful illustration on the back, Hal.
Yep, real nice.
New timers
Beautiful.
disease.
Gorgeous.
This is the star that was on the door at the 2000 Devival that for the hotel room that I had.
Is it electrified?
It is electrified. It's shocking to even touch.
Oh, yeah. Bob riding the dinosaur.
Nice.
Everybody loves Bob riding the dinosaur.
What kind of dinosaur is that? Oh.
Yeehaw!
And not any dinosaur, but a T-Rex.
Yes.
Oh, it's a T-Rex?
That used to be a T-shirt, wasn't it?
Yes, and here are the ads for Farm Fresh Prairie Squid, and hundreds of severed heads.
Oh, be careful.
Severed
No,
heads.
Susan doesn't like hearing about severed heads. You gotta be careful. Sorry.
Fuck Susan.
I know.
We're not going to pander to YouTube.
Is Pussy
I read
okay?
an interesting
Can we talk
book
about
2
Pussy?
years
I
ago.
love severed heads.
The book is called Severed, and I recommend it. It's all about severed heads and whether they retain consciousness.
Rotund for success.
Jenna!
Yeah.
Oh, who's
Jenna made it!
Look it
Don't
up.
live in the past, Clifford.
Stang, it's Jenna.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
That's
Jenna.
Reverend
Oh, I
Jenny.
see Andrew.
Hi.
I still can't figure out how this thing works. I'm using my daughter's laptop, and I am not an Apple person at all, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, you're here, so that's all.
Welcome to the crowd.
Hello.
Well, we do know what we're doing. We're sitting here right now. And
I'm
and we're
about
doing
to
show
go
and tell.
down here in a minute. We're gonna have a bonfire.
Oh, look at that
out here
Enterprise.
tonight.
We're doing show and tell of rare subgenius artifacts. Now, this looks like any nerd's
Cool.
idiotic-
I have that tattooed on my leg.
Yeah, the Enterprise. But this is a special Enterprise that was built by Reverend Nenslow. And
I built it.
Beautiful.
Oh, Jesus.
dun, 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 dun.
Is that from like the alternate universe where they're all Nazis?
Yeah. No, that one show.
Mirror, mirror.
Federation is. The Federation. Boy,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Is this what we
I like the Terran Empire.
Leave it to Nenslow.
You should hang that from your ceiling, Stang.
Illegal in
Yeah,
Germany.
we kind of did. It's usually docked right over there.
Awesome.
Dang, that was my idea, and I made it. Nenslow painted it.
Oh, I'm not real surprised.
That was from a different time.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
The head.
There's the head.
No.
Bleeding
Here's
head.
what. How
It's not the
can
true
there
head.
be two heads? How
Which
can
one's
this
the
be?
real one?
Because one head's never.
Neither of them are.
And there's two more downstairs.
They're not the real head. They're just the head's helpers.
Right.
Dang, I actually do
Little
have
elves
something
help them
to bring you guys at some point.
They are about the size of the original head, strangely enough.
I'll take it if they
Pope
don't.
Jimbo, the late Pope Jimbo of Cleveland had those made.
They're
The
meant to
Indians are going to change their name. They should be the Spiders again.
Rat Fink.
Awesome, Jenna. You're folding clothes.
I am. I don't have the weekend completely off. I still have to do some responsibility things.
Well, at least you get to slack off and with weirdos while you're
In all
folding
fairness,
clothes.
that pile of laundry has been slacking for about a week. So
Hey, you could probably start an OnlyFans of just you folding clothes.
Good.
Nice dinosaur, Onan. What is
sure,
that?
Lord knows I need it.
The last
hey,
two
Steve,
mornings,
I have something for you. I have something for you guys.
Onan, what kind of dinosaur is that?
Emperor wears no clothes.
It is everything you should have learned about marijuana but weren't taught in school from the California
that.
Marijuana Initiative.
Who wrote that?
It says it's from the California and the Oregon Marijuana Initiative,
Oh.
written by Jack
Wow.
Herrera.
And Dr. Hal just got a flip
we
book.
know Jack Harrer, and you've
Do you?
smoked a lot of
My
something
God, I had a
named
copy
after
of
him.
that a long time ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I
Jack.
don't know. I don't even know how I acquired this. My ex left this at my freaking house.
Like this.
That's
And I was actually going through my bookshelf the other day and I saw this and I was like, I'm going to take this to you guys.
Jack meant for us to have it, obviously.
Jack was a heavy smoker, and when we met him in Amsterdam, very briefly, he talks like this. His voice is pretty bad. And I think he died of respiratory ailments or something after that.
Clayton George, if you want us to hear what you said, you're going to have to say it again.
Yeah. Reverend George, you have to speak.
Hello there.
We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you were saying something, but we couldn't hear you.
I was just saying that I had a copy of that book, The Emperor Has No Clothes, and I lost it. I do not know where or how or when. I may have been high, but the book was probably higher.
Are you sure my ex didn't steal it from you and leave it at my house?
Completely lost that one.
Dr. Hal, those flip books were really great. Are those available anywhere?
No, that's a handmade one, but I couldn't get it to work right in front of the little
I must have missed that.
camera. I'll try.
Yeah, show
it.
us the flip books again.
It does. I can't really get it to work right. Is the problem?
I could see a pretty good movements.
Well, spastic movement of some kind. Oh, that's backwards.
Oh.
Right this way.
My gosh, it's Gertie the dinosaur.
Oh, that's
Right?
awesome, Hal.
Yeah, it's Gertie the dinosaur. That's amazing.
That's
I want a
awesome.
copy of that.
Beautiful.
Uh-oh.
That's a beautiful flip book.
Gorgeous.
Damn it.
Eat it, Windsor McKay.
Terrific.
I have a sad story for you, Dr. Hal. When
Oh,
I was
sad,
12 years old,
Beautiful.
He's doing it again.
That's cool.
when I was 12 years old and we moved to Dallas, I decided I was going to be a normal. I wasn't going to be a weirdo anymore. And I burned all the Flip It books that I had drawn in elementary.
See the spittle flying off of that dinosaur's mouth.
A series called 101 Tortures. That was stick figures dying in different ways.
That
I also
sounds
did
so
a lot
cool.
of Wolfman transformations and things like that in Flip It books. And because I wanted to be normal and maybe have a girlfriend someday, I burned all of the comics and Flip It's that I did. Wow.
Hey,
Oh,
Lagoon,
wow.
Put on your cam.
Dramatic zoom in on Kong there.
Death realization.
Hey, Lagoon, turn your cam on. We haven't heard from you in a while.
Those look like Flip It books that Hal had drawn, though.
I've got a lot in actual
Yeah,
books
a
that
Flip It book.
based. Yeah.
Oh,
They're a little bit
yeah.
hard to set up, I think. That's not
What are we doing?
You have to flip them from the front to the back classically, not back to front.
There's an
Oh,
atom.
the atom on the
The,
subject.
the electron is orbiting the proton or the
Yeah,
nucleon.
but the image is too far from the camera. You don't have
Actually,
it.
they
Well, it's
inhabit
tiny.
like probabilistic
really
space,
tiny. On one,
right?
John Hagenbrenner did this. It helps
Exactly.
me sell like Weaver.
They don't actually orbit.
On one side, it's a flaming comet,
Mm-hmm.
and they are animated. It's just both McGraw-Hill and Simon and Schuster didn't bother to register the goddamn plates. It's like, how hard can that be? But they don't really line up properly. One side was an atom, and one side is a comet. John Hellswami Satellite Weavers drew them in. We went to a lot of trouble to just put the registration marks for the printers just right. In fact, the first copy of Book of the Subgenius, they reversed the order of the appendix pages, and some poor Korean guy had to hand paste the new pages into the first 5,000 copies or something.
Truly, there are subgeniuses everywhere.
Simon and Schuster, those big publishing companies turned out to be as inefficient as the government or the army. They're so huge they can't do anything right.
Yeah.
We had a website 3 years before McGraw-Hill or Simon and Schuster had websites. What does that tell you?
Hey, Chris Lee.
Hey,
July.
Chris Lee made it.
4th of July, Chris Lee.
Wow, the famous, handsome Chris Lee.
Happy X-Day Eve.
Chris Lee is here.
Happy X-Day Eve.
It wouldn't be X Day without Chris Lee. Chris Lee, I thought you were dead.
I can't wait. We're all going to die. But we won't die, but everyone else will. That'll be great.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Nice bucket, Philo.
Full of berries.
Oh, cool.
I thought it was dirt.
I thought it was coffee.
Ain't no berry rate.
At one time.
Moving around.
Now it's berries.
Nice.
Who is she? I want to know who she is. I want to know her.
Where is Philo?
Hey, Chris Lee, use text, and we can't see you or hear you. Your boxes lighten up every once in a while, but that's about it.
Dropping on cam, eh?
Woo! Wow, we've got 40 people in here.
Sounds like the
Good
morning, y'all.
That's one more than the last actual live X day, or at least that's one more than paid to get in.
Hey, that wasn't
signed in on the registration. So that's not too bad.
Morning, y'all.
Good morning. Where is it morning? Are you in Hawaii?
One individual.
Who's saying?
How's it been going today?
Is Chris Lee trying to pull his own teeth?
No, I hope not.
He's got that digital stutter.
Oh, it's you. Hello.
Hello.
Back or back
That's
noise
an
from my end.
effective mask that Gomez has.
Thank you. It's my face. I thought I'd put it on for X Day. I'm on the Pacific Coast, so
Me
I
too.
start a little later.
Morning.
It should keep you safe.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
only
out
an
here.
hour behind me, and it's
Where it's only 1:02.
O'clock.
Somebody
I know for
is
some
talking
genie at 1
to
o'clock
you.
is morning, but
There's some prankster here because yesterday Dr. Dark showed up and today Levine showed up. Somebody's being a smart aleck.
I promise it's not
real.
Sam.
All right, I'm off of work. Hell yeah, now I can hang out.
We're having dead subgeniuses show up. There's Captain Blackout. I heard he was dead. I thought you were dead.
He's just been banned.
Horrible music. I mean, that noise coming from.
yeah, what is that noise?
Beggars.
Mute him.
Chris, there might be some noise coming off your account. If you don't mind, I'm just going to mute you for a second and see if it's coming off of your box.
Yeah, somebody.
Hold on a minute.
Maybe interrupted audio. Attempt. I'm trying to talk through wax.
I don't have that.
I muted myself to see if it was me, but I don't think it is.
Ain't me. I
Get
ain't
the
making
suppression
no
of
noise.
the sounds and stuff, so the food that might do something.
I mute myself on a daily basis.
I think we're getting tagged by some sort of.
Chris, you might need to log out and log back in again. I'm not sure. There's something weird with your connection. Oh, there you go. You've been muted.
Maybe a kitten's walking.
You've been muted.
Who's scraping potatoes?
Get out of here, you
That was Chris Lee.
It looks like a weird connection.
Now, usually when you have horrible, irritating noises, it's Dr. Drummond and he's doing it deliberately.
I know. Well, you know,
He calls it
he's
music.
probably playing the YouTube, And I did warn him, you gotta mute the YouTube audio so you don't have any kind of echo. That may have been my fault.
It's your fault.
Kill them all. Let Bob sort them out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You gave
Not
people
much
the
longer.
YouTube link. It's all your fault.
That's the life I live by.
Speaking of Bob, I saw him not too long ago. I gotta put forth like a Dob summoning ritual. I think I'm gonna set up like a bear trap with a bong in it.
What kind of bears are you trapping?
Trapping Bobs. I got a picture of him earlier. He's in the vicinity. I know he's around, and so I gotta once I get him, I'm gonna wrangle him up on the top level of the Hypercube Labs, and we'll get things in order. But I'm hoping to have him all quartered and drawn by midnight.
Right. I was going to say we have to kill him by midnight.
Sounds fine by me. I got it going.
I'll need
to talk to a host later. I was gonna ask if anyone sees or hears from Hazel of the Windmills, if Hazel would want to sing a song before we kill Bob, lead us in a sing along.
He hasn't been here since Friday.
I was here the other day.
Is there a virtual Bob burning?
Fat Man D is gonna be doing a thing tonight at 10 o'clock. She and Tommy and me will still be here probably.
Yeah, I was gonna save it for last.
She's got the best
Can I
lunch.
still read tarot cards today?
It's on the schedule.
Hell yeah! What time?
Ask Dr. Hal. We were asked about Ask Dr. Hal last
Yeah,
time.
we need to ask Dr. Hal.
We are all
That's
there.
right.
Well, the world ends tomorrow, and you may die, so probably you better ask Dr.
You
Hal
have
your
questions.
question.
You better get them out
I
today.
sure hope so.
And you can
We
use the
need to know,
donation button on subgenius.com. I promise I'll forward those pennies to Dr. Hal.
Do we just donate to you and ask him in here, or can we donate and
Just
send a
ask
question
him in
on the
here, and
website?
If you feel like it, donate later, and I'll. No, well, that doesn't.
Ask now, pay later. That sounds like a subgenius motto.
Glad we pay you Tuesday for a question
now,
today.
ask later.
Let's pay now, ask.
Yeah.
Now we were talking about having people put the questions on the chat.
Yeah, there's a Q&A board.
Pile up of oral sex.
Yes.
So if people were to, there's a little chat button at the bottom. Does this sound okay, Dr. Hal?
Yeah, it could be, unless you, because of this unusual format, it might be fun to phrase your question so everyone can hear it. Otherwise, what you have is me speaking twice as long as first I read the question and then answer it. But all things are free now. And Liberty Hall, anything goes.
I have a question.
Sure.
Good.
If I was a fish, what kind of laser gun would I have?
Well, I'm not sure you'd get to use one of those. You would need to be able to discharge it, to fire it. And so I'm going to have to say the most plausible possibility would be the trigger fish.
Fair enough.
Somebody's eating popcorn and it's interfering with the sound.
I'm almost out.
I have a question for Dr.
Sure.
If you could be any kind of ape besides human, what would it be?
Any kind of what?
Ape besides human.
Oh, the gorilla is more noble than the loathsome chimpanzee. And
I
those are your
with
choices. Monkeys are not them. And you wouldn't want to be them anyway.
There's some interference with the sound here. Somebody's crinkling paper or making some kind of busy noise, and it's overpowering everybody's speech.
Be mindful of your mute button.
They're tapping us.
A mutant button.
Mutants, unmute. Or mute. Wait.
Yes, mutants, mute.
The gorilla seems to spend his life in philosophical tranquility, but
point is mute.
Chimpanzees are hormonally controlled, and They may have their fun. Bonobos have their fun.
Well, I feel the orangutan is on the same level as the
Bonobo
gorilla
can
as
shake.
far as philosophical enlightenment goes.
Ape shall not kill ape.
Right.
The lawgiver.
Yes.
Yes, if I was going to be an ape, I'd be the lawgiver in Planet of the Apes, who probably died horribly like Jesus. They probably worked that out in the movies.
Now I'm sad about Phil Hartman because of The Simpsons and Dr. Zayas and Troy McClure.
You had to bring him up, didn't you?
Has Australia been ruptured yet?
Sorry, everybody.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, Phil.
Another 50 minutes.
Can I play the piano anymore? Well, of course you can.
Of course
Well, I
you
couldn't
can.
before.
That's
I
beautiful.
hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. But you finally made a monkey out of me.
Immortal lyrics.
Mortal.
God made man, but a monkey supplied the glue.
I guess she never realized how sad that song could be.
Planet of the Apes music.
Hey, I temporarily suspended Brady Bunch mode, so I am watching 14 seconds of 14 seconds of Glass Joe.
Back to Planet of the Apes. I liked Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I thought it was
Sam.
pretty cool, and they all worshipped that nuclear bomb, and that was cool. And that movie was actually pretty cool.
Yes, but they blew everything up.
Well,
yes.
You good.
Still, you get to see
Isn't
the
that what we're waiting for
rise up
today?
and
For tomorrow? Is everything's going to get blown up? Like, yay! Hooray! They blew everything up.
Oh, this is spectacular. Thank you for this GIF.
I've got a question for Dr. Howell.
I love this.
Present.
This.
You sit there and watch that over and over and over.
Could.
It's a hell of a fight.
Oh my God.
Talking about.
Hey, Dr. Howell.
Was Sam Stutler getting knocked out within 14 seconds in his boxing
See it on
match?
Fight?
I have it on
Fight,
my
see
YouTube
Taj?
right now, so it's.
Okay, well, we're in a chat room right now.
I know, but it's. I
We're
don't
doing
have
You can
your
see it.
Brady Bunch mode on, but
You can
right.
see it behind Fight.
There's a
Fight,
question
Fight,
for Dr. Howell.
Fight.
Just found Brady Bunch mode.
I'm ready.
It has no context here.
It's all good. Dr. Howell, what book are you going to take along with your on your pleasure saucers once the rupture happens?
Probably a compendium of the works of Sir Thomas Browne. You have to take something that you won't get tired of reading. That would include Hydriotaphia, Religio Medici, all those things.
So esoteric literature.
Well, or hardcore direct literature. Essays are a good form. You know, if you are following a fictional arc, you'll get to the end of it.
Wait a minute. What? Take one book?
Yeah, I know. That's why. I wanted to put it.
All the libraries of all reality starting tomorrow morning.
Yes.
But you can also rupture or beam up the libraries of big cities.
But maybe he means a
library. I don't have dibs on it. I don't
artifact
have physical copies of a book.
charred earth.
Right.
But
I was under the
some
assumption
people
that the
want
only
those
book
physical
that
books.
was
You better put dibs on it now. Make your list. My list is
Right.
so damn long. That's the only thing I have to take with me is the list. But of course, there's no guarantee that you can take anything with you
A Clockwork Orange.
at
I'll
all,
take a
including your
Clockwork Orange.
body. So
Better get to memorizing.
it's a moot point. It's a moot point. Okay.
I would take Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. That would be my book.
If I ever meet Malcolm McDowell, I'm going to freak him out because I can quote A Clockwork Orange from nearly start to finish. You know,
Yeah,
from
but can you
photographic
quote?
memory.
But can you quote Caligula? Because that's his best movie.
Working on that.
That was the first movie I saw rated X on a movie theater. I remember being a child looking up and it's rated X and thinking, wow, what's that?
It's
Well, it has that really graphic, well, by old standards, a pretty graphic rape scene in the abandoned theater.
That would be the best movie to replace everybody but Malcolm McDowell with Muppets.
Well, you need to figure in Barbarella from the whole situation.
That was the first R-rated movie I ever saw. And I was
That was
my dad.
that was the first movie where I actually saw What Nang.
Barbarella was rated R back then. It's like
Barbarella opens with a strip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
In
microgravity. Strip scene, and I was very
Unfortunately, it
uncomfortable.
never
So my
achieved
dad and
that
I were
height
sitting next to
again.
each other watching
Pre-credits.
on a movie.
She had a see-through
the letters
spacesuit.
are kind of like
I would have
Jane's
been
private
totally.
bits.
No, they don't all the
No,
time.
they
I watched the title sequence about 3 nights ago. It's on Netflix. I did watch
Low
that.
gravity or the
Yeah, excellent control of the pause button.
I would have liked to have dipped into Jane Fonda's sugar donut in Barbarella. Ooh, help me, somebody. Yeah.
I'm going to bring up this point that I brought up last night, but Fantastic Planet is fucking boring. That movie is hard to watch. I watched it.
What?
Yeah, I said it. And I stand by it. That movie is boring.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Then you see Fantastic Planet on the USA Network in like the early '80s. That's kind of like
I watched it in French.
Now, is there any? We were doing Dr. Howell. You spaced out weirdos. There's got to be more questions for Dr.
I have a question for Dr. Howell.
Sure, ask away.
Where did you get that incredible hat?
From an artist who is now deceased, Leslie Sternberg of New York City. She found it and thought it was better than the other one I used to use in my nightclub show.
Hey, I have a question. I have a question for Dr. Howell.
Yes, sir.
What's the capital of South Dakota?
Bismarck, is that the town?
No, that's the capital of North Dakota. The capital of South Dakota.
I know.
What is it? Going? Oh, well.
Okay, I'll tell you. It's Pierre. It's most people would say Pierre, South Dakota, but in South Dakota it's pronounced Pierre.
Are there subgeniuses up that way?
Time when I lived in South Dakota.
They're everywhere.
On the
It's a place where us
and into one state of Dakota and adding DC or Puerto Rico.
I have a question.
I can't believe it. I knew something that Dr. Howell didn't. One time at Rushmore,
This year for sure. Oh shit!
I asked Dr. We were just driving around.
It's the end times, Reverend Stang. It's the end times.
Hal, what are turtle mounds all about? And he said, I don't know. The next day, at Ask Dr. Howell for $1, he had a long, excellent answer to that same question.
Well, that was $1. And besides, if you find you don't know something, you can always look up the answer. I don't know why people don't do it, or even since everyone carries around a device with all the knowledge of humanity on it, they say, well, I wonder how far away the moon is.
I have a question for Dr. Howell, but I don't want to interrupt someone that has had a question before me, so I'll wait. But
I have a question.
Here. Yes, let's have that one.
Okay. We had a discussion the other night. What is the greatest James Bond movie and why?
There is a matter of individual choice, but I like From Russia with Love.
Yes, From Russia with Love. Yes.
From Russia with Love. First of all, you get Bond killed in the beginning. And then
I at one point when I was working on Subgenius movie ideas, I thought we should start the Subgenius movie with that, only it'd be Bob getting killed instead of James Bond. Yeah, and they'd pull the mask off and go, oh, it's a pretty good run through.
Well, which James Bond movie has the most titty?
None of them. They're all.
Oh, I know this one.
They're all behind something.
I think Diamonds Are Forever. If you've got really good control of the pause.
No, it's not. It's Octotitty.
Pussy.
Titty case.
Octotitty.
Octotitty.
Yeah.
For your eyes
Well,
only.
what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Forget
Titty.
this. There's one
That's the only movie I ever want to watch from now on forever.
And that is?
Octotitty.
Oh no, there was in one of the Bond movies. There's a girl wearing a bra, and at one point, 007 grabs her bra and pulls it up and wraps it around her neck. I forget which movie that was.
Well, there's also Natalie Wood's sister.
Yeah, if you've got really good control of the pause button and you're 14 years old like I was, you can see that.
That's in
Yeah, if you're 14 years old, you can see right through the clothing of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask that you, if you don't mind watching
Y'all,
I'll be back in a few, guys.
Hey, listen. What is the greatest titty movie to y'all?
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah, I'd have to say, Super Vixen's there.
Yeah,
my favorite is a new one called
Vixens, man.
It's a
Anything Russ Meyer, really.
Yeah, Russ Meyer films in general, man.
Yeah.
Uncanny.
Shit, I got a Russ Meyer trailer reel. I'll throw that shit on.
La Belle Noiseuse or
Uncanny Valley of the Dolls.
Put the vanilla wafers on the top of the bananas and then cover with the rest of the pudding. Aren't you used to having them on? Okay.
Has anyone ever seen Ed Wood's Orgy of the Dead?
What's
that?
That would be my answer to your question.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I've seen of all the rest of these, I mean, you made it. Was they
Philo making that noise?
Yes.
Yeah, side conversation. Mute your mic.
Do you know
Well,
what
that was
Russ
never
Meyer
a
put on his
requirement.
tombstone?
When my mom made it.
Pastor Pressure, I think you need
There's
to.
titties in Tombstone.
He doesn't know
Russ
that
Myers wanted on his tombstone.
Yes.
Somebody said that he was responsible for destroying America values, and he wanted on his tombstone. I was happy to do it.
Is Philo playing with Hot Wheels cars right now?
If only it had been.
That's so much better. Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Hal.
Yes.
Was Guanji the monster or was man?
Obviously, it was man. Man broke the sun, pulled the wind down, burned up Guanji. Or you could say it was.
I have a question for Dr. Howe. I have a question for Dr. Howe. Dr. Howe, who had the best tits, Barbarella or Carolyn Monroe?
Marilyn, did you say, or Carolyn?
Carolyn Monroe.
Hammer Film Girl.
Once again, this is entirely subjective. I'm not a judge to rule on such things.
We better not have a wet T-shirt contest right now. Hey,
I have a question for Dr. Hal.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the best tits ever. What are the best tits ever?
That depends what you're into. Are you?
That would be mine.
Do you like big nipples?
There's the answer. Whoever said that. By the way, I would say Carolyn.
The ones with a really
Incidentally,
good
Sterno, Carolyn Monroe is still alive and does a lot of appearances at sci-fi conventions.
He's a good sport.
Yeah, she's a real good sport.
I'm probably not as experienced as y'all, but
great.
I was amazed at Jamie Lee Curtis's rack.
This one chick on OnlyFans has the best.
This might be
I would
Gloria Vetri is out.
Jamie Lee Curtis for like 3 months.
Yeah, but what about in Trading Places? That's a nice shot.
No, that's a nice shot right there. What is that?
What are you looking at?
Dude.
I'm
looking at something that kind of makes me want to jack off.
Please don't.
You are seeing something the rest of us can't, apparently.
Sterno, you dirty old man.
It's sex day. Want to do that? Have sex with a beautiful life, whatever you want.
Yeah. The guy can do it at Pompeii. You can do it.
I've got tarantulas all over the place. Drive on down to Glenrose, man. You can fuck a
And we
bucket.
can have sex with a
I
beautiful
got a
live
bucket of
girl.
slugs under the porch. You told me how to do that. You put beer in a bucket under the porch, and you drill a hole in the porch, and then fuck the bucket full of slugs the next day. They all crawl into the beer and die. They're cold. Off.
I do have a question.
I read that in Portnoy's complaint. It was like
really?
this mailbox full of dirt. And I thought, well, if this guy can fuck a mailbox full of dirt, I can fuck a mailbox full of sludge.
I knew a guy and actually witnessed him fucking a deflated swimming pool raft in his swim. I had a little, snorkel thing on, and the guy had been talking about it's really fun to fuck a deflated life raft. I thought he was kidding. My brother and I were swimming around. We looked down, and my God, he's just finished. He's pushed it away, and there's
God! Nice.
No,
that's classy.
Like came out of water. Like in the first
I have this friend that I work with now, and he found a dead dog on the side of the road, and he painted its tail red, and he created this piece of art called "Dead Dog with a Red Tail," and he made a video of that called "Fucking the Red Dog with the Red Tail," and I just thought, I don't have to do anything else ever again the rest of my life. He's done it all.
Yeah. Well, tentatively is truly inimitable. Great.
Oh, are we talking about tentatively?
Yeah. By the way, I visited tentatively about 5 years ago in Pittsburgh, and although I used to think he'd be the most likely subgenius to die first, he's actually doing really good.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of his artwork stuff on Facebook.
Let me tell you about tentatively. Tentatively at Convenience knocked me out on stage while Dr. Shabab was playing live in Chicago. He brained me in the head with a synthesizer because I was being an art Nazi and wasn't letting him destroy our amplifiers. And after he knocked me out, Tent and I have become the best friends. He's like the coolest guy. I really like the guy that fucking brained me in the head with a synthesizer, and I had blood everywhere.
Well, your resurrection was pretty dramatic. It involved the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer and all the babes. The women who had just
the babes took over everything.
Yeah.
Saved our asses.
Yeah, in 1982 Subgenius Convention in Chicago, the ladies of the church, basically they stole the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer and held it ransom until they got their demands, which included beer.
Because we were boring. We were really boring.
Hey, Reverend Big John, can you check?
Well, yeah,
your,
they needed to take over the church at that point. They did the right thing. Sandy wanted to feature that in the documentary movie, and I gave her all the footage and all the stills and everything, but, it just didn't fit. It's getting too complicated. It's too much of a story. I wish I could see the outtakes of the editing.
The outtakes should be like 9 hours of the greatest movie ever made.
Oh, I've got that. Actually, the outtakes would have all come from me. And indeed, I have. Okay, when Sandy was putting that movie together, I really busted ass to digitize everything I could that might be any good. I had to cut a little bit of you, Sterno, from the Branson time because
because I was talking about those one guy.
Okay, I had all these video files on about 3 different big terabyte hard drives, and I have a Final Cut Pro file that will run for, I think, 27 hours of Subgenius stuff. Or maybe I'm thinking more like 27 days. Yeah, that would make more sense. 27 days of Subgenius home movies, starting around 1953 although they're very thin in that early period, and then they go all the way up to now, and yeah, it's like 27 days worth of stuff, which no one ever added.
We were huffing the church air in the wilds of Arkansas in a shed filled with razor sharp implements, and we were passing out and falling down on top of chainsaws and shit. And that's what Subgenius is to me. That's what Bob is to me. It's like huffing church air, becoming unconscious, and then bleeding profusely from the neck from a cut from the chainsaws that were hanging on the wall there in Mayflower in Dock Stock 1. Man.
Oh, you left out the sledgehammering and chainsawing of the upright piano and the eating of Bible pages.
We reduced that piano to splinters in 3 days in the song that lasted for 72 hours.
Yeah, it's really amazing nobody got blinded or killed or hurt badly.
I can't see you, Reverend Stang. I can't see you.
It's in the upper left.
Blind.
I remember a piano getting blasted into splinters in all of 5 minutes one X day. That was impressive.
Oh yeah, that's right. A heathen came up and lost that thing all to shit. He knocked it off the stage. Reverend Absint's band. I can't remember them. That was a fucked up band. They were so great.
So it was like a Doctors for Bob cover that they were doing?
Yeah, it kind of was. We did, well, you know, Doctors for Wotan have performed. We did reunions the last couple of X days, and, you know, people copy Doctors for Bob. Doctors for Wotan was just a Doctors for Bob copy band.
And
Doctors for Bob came first. Doctors for Bob were the original anti-music band. But, you know, without Snavely,
there couldn't be a Doctors for Bob, period. I mean, Snavely used to do 2 hits of acid and put a pan over his head and put a microphone in his mouth and beat on the pan with ball-peen hammers and scream at the top of his lungs. And we would always say, it's a good thing Snavely only took half a hit.
And he's the most successful businessman in the Church of the Subgenius.
He's a multi-millionaire now.
He's a multi-millionaire.
Naturally.
He started the first health food store in Arkansas, and when he finally sold it to Whole Foods after holding out for decades, he made enough money to quit planet Earth. He's already on his escape saucer.
Well, I worked at that store for a number of years, and what happened was I was in Austin, Texas, and I saw on a phone pole this poster that said, "Have you taken the Sluggo Violence Quiz?" And I thought, no, I haven't taken the Sluggo Violence Quiz. So I took the poster down, and there was a little picture of Bob in the lower right-hand corner, and it said, "For more information, send $1 to Post Office Box 140306, Dallas, Texas 75214. And I sent $1, and Snavely sent $100. And Stang was going, "What the fuck? What's going on in Arkansas?" Because he was sending all these little Subgenius things out, and he would get a reply from like New York and London and Los Angeles, and like 30 replies from Little Rock. And he's going, "What the fuck?" And it's Doctors for Bob. I mean, we were totally into Negi in Doctors for Bob, and that's how that whole Subgenius initial period started, man. Ugh.
What time period are we talking about here?
1980.
Okay, all right.
How much did
1980,
Jager send in?
Snavely, if I remember correctly, saw an ad, the only ad we'd ever placed, that was in Sluggo magazine, a zine in Austin. It was Philo was showing me here's how advertising works. You got a picture of Lee Harvey Oswald getting shot, and for a headline it goes, "Fucked." Send $10 for membership. Church of the
I-
Seven.
I miss the atmosphere of kooks out there.
Snavely responded. I don't think he really sent $100, Sterno. I think it was $10, but that's like $100 now. And Philo and I went, shit.
How much did
The
Jane
membership
send?
is real. Now we're going to have to actually make a Stark Fist. And for a long time, it was just Xeroxes because there were only 12 people to send it to. You guys and Puzzling Evidence and Mavrides and Jay Kinney. And then Hal got on board and Glass. And suddenly, because of the tapes, which were a form of special effects, we could make it appear that the 12 of us were really an army. And we all fell for that ourselves at first. And
well, the first time I ever came to Dallas, the first time I ever came to Dallas, me and Janer drove from Little Rock to Dallas, and we stayed at Philo's house. And Cookie Drummond kept trying to get Janer to take a shower, and she kept asking me if I was a biker because I had a biker billfold, and then we went over to Victor Street where Stang lived, and we met him for the first time, and it was like, wait a minute, this isn't a couple of guys on methamphetamine sitting in an upholstered apartment typing out this shit randomly forever. It's just like these two really cool guys that I can hang out with.
What year was the weirdo
family
ad?
men with jobs? Yeah.
What year was the weirdo ad?
We weren't the methamphetamine connection, although your instinct was right.
Well, the thing is, Reverend Stang, is that when I found out later that you used to put huge handfuls of dextromethamphetamine into bottles of wine and then drink it, and I did the same thing when I was a teenager, and that's, I mean, it's like Bob, it's like Bob.
Well, it's true that those Benzedrine things would dissolve in a bottle of Thunderbird.
Benzies and Thunderbird.
A bottle of Thunderbird, and you'd be instantly drunk. Then the speed would kick in, and you'd edit World of the Future for 12 hours. And you'd start to crash and hallucinate and feel terrible. And there's the 3/4 of a bottle of Thunderbird and speed right next to you.
Oh God!
Another 24 hours.
I so love not being drunk and being drunk.
Right. You know how they make Carlo Rossi in Thunderbird?
It did catch up to me. I did suffer a heart attack a few years ago and had to.
Every night around like 3 o'clock in the morning, the Carlo Rossi / Thunderbird van comes rolling around the towns, and they scoop up all the winos that are sleeping on the street that don't get like away in time, and then they take it back to the factory, and they put them in this big press, and they squeeze it all out. And that's what Carlo Rossi and Thunderbird is. And the cycle repeats itself. And then Steel Reserve.
Red label Thunderbird. The green label is not as strong.
Hey.
Steel Reserve is the stuff you skim off the top of that.
No, I did. A friend of mine did a documentary about the guy that drives that truck and scrapes up the homeless people.
Do you guys want to hear the rare origin of the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer?
Yeah. Tell us, Daddy.
Now's the time for that.
Okay. All right. I used to be in this band called Doctors for Bob, and we used to practice out in this trailer in Mayflower, Arkansas, owned by Snavely Eklund, who was our saxophone player. And Snavely came up with this way of playing the piano where we would open up this upright piano and we would tape contact microphones to the strings, and we would throw mason jars at it from the other end of the trailer, and we would smash all these mason jars, and it made this awesome fucking sound. And so anyway, one night we were all doing acid, and Snavely was barefoot, and he was tap dancing on the keyboards of the piano while playing his saxophone, and he slipped and he fell into this pile of broken glass which had accumulated for the last 4 months. And he had this huge sliver of glass in his heel and it was like bleeding everywhere. And Janer's dad had won a golf tournament that morning, and the prize was a bust of Arnold Palmer. So people grabbed this Arnold Palmer head and stuck it on his heel to staunch the blood flow. And then after a while, the blood coagulated and he took the head away. And we're looking at it and we're going, yeah, the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer. And earlier that day, we had built a catapult and we were launching these rocks and shit in the woods. So we took the head out and we started launching the head into the woods. And we go, yeah, the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer Launchers Society. That's what we are, because the Church of the Subgenius encourages you to join and form your own heretical offshoot immediately. And that's what we did. And that was the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer Launchers Society. It was just a bunch of fuck-ups on acid.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
You know, for many years, for me, really, the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer Launcher Society was the closest thing I had to religion, because when those head launchings happened, it was as ritualistic as any other religion has ever gotten, and as long and drawn out and insane as any other religion's nonsensical rituals. And I've wept. I have fallen down on my knees and wept, not pretending, but heartfelt, because I was so moved by this wonderful sight of the head flying through the air and often injuring audience members when it was the plaster head. Then
when we did that gig in Chicago, and we launched the bleeding head off the roof of the hotel where we were staying, where the Chicago State Police were having a convention on the floor beneath us, and Buck, naked, launched the head onto the next building, and we had to go rescue the head. I mean, it was like a major deal, us trying to save the bleeding head of Arnold Palmer in Chicago when we were fucked up. Man,
I think I prefer the healed head.
I think Buck was the one who actually clambered up the fire escape onto the top of that building.
Bleeding head, good. Healed head, bad.
He did it with a strange-looking woman he'd picked up, and he told me later he got her to take her. They traded shirts, and then they went and rescued the head.
I hope those shirts weren't pea-soaked.
It actually wasn't Buck that launched it onto the other building. It was a guy named Jack. I can't remember the name. Kirby, I think. Something Kirby or Kirby something. Who later went on to do Roadside America, the book Roadside America and the website Roadside America about Bulldada roadside attractions. The biggest jackrabbit in the world, that kind of shit. The Corn Palace.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, and because of Church of the Subgenius, he was able to get an agent. That was our agent, Jane Brown. I turned him on to her, and she got him a gig, and that guy made a living out of traveling around the country, shooting pictures of them standing next to their own kind of Bob guy, cardboard man, in front of all these, giant sombreros and things. It's a maze of circuitous contacts that have, in some cases, really saved people's lives, given them a career and a new significant other. Others, it has ended their jobs and their relationships with others, caused them to leave the church and pretty much everything else, while having gigantic tattoos of the trademark I own on their backs. I feel so sorry for the people who hate me because my trademark is on their back. Dumbass. Fucking dumbasses. Jesus.
Is it too late to ask Dr. Howell?
You couldn't get me to. I thank God I'm from the time when all you had to do to be cool was not get a haircut. Ah, so easy. All you
Well, I
had to
got
do
my
was
Dobbs head on the arm. I could just
take
chop
the
it off if
scissors,
you ever piss me off.
snip it off, get a job. 6 months later, grow right back. Fuck the man.
Oh. But
And fuck tattoos. I don't know why you people do that. That's nuts. The conspiracy is going to be able to make lampshades out of you, especially the ones with Bob's heads on them. That includes you too, my friend. You're not left out. The judgmental will be at the judgment, my friend.
You're not willing to put your savior's face on your arm as a show of your strength of your conviction. We don't want you in this cult. That's what I heard.
I just realized not muted.
Well, I did. As I said last night, I underwent the balls in vice grips in Dobbstown.
Well, good for you.
Balls in vice grips in Dobbstown. You're an overman now. There. So we just did a Doctors for Wotan hit. Rarely a little known Wotan hit.
Yeah, but I heard you got through it twice as quickly as most people.
Hey, Sting, I actually managed to lose my job after the last lecture.
Touche. That's a good inside joke. Yeah, I've had a one of my balls on Rottenar's head.
I didn't.
One, just one.
Yep. Yes, I can confirm.
Well, there was that sad teabagging thing that evolved quite by accident.
Well, that wasn't an accident.
Our volunteer.
It
Something he
was,
didn't
it
know
was
what it was.
no accident. It was no accident.
And it was Synfaltimus and Sifu went, God, the idiot just volunteered for what was going to be somebody else's haircut. They went, well, we'll strap him to the chair and teabag him.
Rumor has it
Doc
Doc Frop's scrotum went like halfway over
Doc
his entire skull.
That sack was so gigantically huge and stretchable that it was like a Rorschach mask.
That's why he advocated the contest to begin with.
Maybe he wanted to show
Came
off.
through with flying colors.
He'll show anybody his ball sack.
He's like a bathing cap on his head.
My ball sack's in the background on that video, but that was back when.
You're teabagging yourself, Stang.
No, but one of the funniest things I did afterwards, right afterwards, was I was so hot and sweaty from it, I just went, "Hey, Stang, thank you."
I just think he's funny looking naked.
All that ball sweat.
That was just one of those things that happened. You know, nobody targeted you.
Oh,
you volunteered for something you didn't know what it was.
I know.
And it's Synfaltimus. So what the fuck do you expect? They're going to do something terrible. You're lucky it wasn't legume.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot worse than an actual teabagging.
Oh, I've partied with Legume. He and I have dropped like each a quarter bag of mushrooms one next day. And he was just bragging about like what a heroic dose of mushrooms I was taking. I was like,
yeah, but see, you don't remember what he did to you. I've got the videos. Just be glad I never put them on YouTube, man.
Yeah, he was just buttering you up, man.
That, especially for 2012.
I miss doing mushrooms with Heathen because Heathen has this idea that, I'm going to give this person who's like 3/4 my size the same amount that I'm going to take. And he turns to me one night and says, that mushroom barely hit me and I'm flying. This guy was eating them out of a Ziploc bag like they were chips.
Yeah, last time I did shrooms was with Heathen at 18. We had a really nice time that night.
Yes. He always brought great psilocybin to the table.
Yeah.
Killer shrooms.
Just say no, kids.
Oh, look at that.
Or just say both.
Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Just eat them.
I've got
ready for 7 a.m.
I've got bigger caps, but they fell off the stems. These are more picturesque, the little ones.
Why don't you eat them?
Stems.
Oh, lucky you.
I'm waiting for the rupture.
Oh, okay. So you're going to drop them at 4 a.m?
Something like that. Yeah.
My buddy, my buddy got deported to Vietnam
fuck ice, but he before he left, he sent me over $1,000 worth of acid for free.
Nice.
So I had
Wow.
I had like 300 tabs of acid in my home in 2017, and we're down to our last 10. I want to say now. The only reason we're not doing it is because like we both have fucked up backs, and we learned the hard way that acid slightly changes the pressure in your spine. So it
It
can
hurts my
kind
neck
of
hurts. I haven't done it for years because it hurts my neck.
exactly same. And
Maybe
so
in the
we've
neck,
taken a
yeah.
bit of a break from it. Do mushrooms do that though? I was curious because I've been looking for those.
No, mushrooms are different.
Okay, good. So that'll be the next. Yeah. So
Mushrooms
we
are
have a
like being
bunch of-
really high for a long time.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
we've got
I
like.
don't have to do any of that stuff. I just look at a picture of Bob, just glance at it.
Oh
I'm
yes, sir,
surrounded
and
by
that is the goal. That is the goal: is to look at the Dobbs head and to feel his smile within your soul, etc. But I'm not there yet. So acid.
Elastical gonad.
Apparently, the Dobbs head is a great
if I were
aid
so
in toilet
inclined
training. If
I were
a
so
child is
inclined-
having trouble, just put the Bob head in front of him, and he has no problem.
Just out of luck, man.
What I've heard, I don't have children, but other people with children have told me.
You got to run right over Hal. Trust me, with the truck.
You know, if I were so inclined, I'd go out on the internet. There's a lot of folks that sell syringes that are full of various types of psilocybin spore.
There are on Amazon. You can buy for $20 a smell-proof container with a combination lock that only opens with 3 digits that like you give to another person. It's totally just for sending, valuables like jewelry. But
Nice.
I don't know anything about that. I was told that by a friend.
But they're
drug
very
dogs
actually
for
very easy
mushrooms?
to grow.
Yeah, they.
I
they are.
have some friends in other states that are growing, and we're not talking
Grow
about
giant
trading.
mushrooms in your cellar.
Not mine, not yet.
The old.
I did make DMT once. That was interesting.
Really? How do you make that?
There's a tech method that's like super simple where you don't have to use lye or anything like that.
Oh my god, I want to do this.
This isn't
Yeah,
5-MeO DMT, is it?
It's the one that you smoke and you see, the things. It's I think it's called Gordo Tech. Like
Gordo Tech? I'm gonna look this up. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can I bought all the ingredients on Amazon, and it wasn't as strong as I would have liked, but it worked for a first attempt.
Nice.
And all of it's legal to buy. Like all the ingredients are legal to buy. You just get like mimosa,
Righteous.
Hostilla Spark off of eBay. And it's like $40, and then you can make up to 2 grams. If you get it, the guy doing it's a chemist, so he gets it nice and clean. It might take a few times.
Yeah,
Righteous.
That reminds me, Dr. Hal, have you seen on Vice TV a program called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia?
I'm afraid I haven't. I'm unable to watch TV during this current period. So
That guy just goes off and gets fucking high everywhere and gets paid for it. Like
He's
that's
like
super slackful.
He's like a young version of Dr. Hal when it comes to psychedelics.
Oh, I mean, like.
Pontus, is that your 3D printer going?
Couldn't hear that.
Do what?
What?
Yeah, it is. Holy shit.
3D printer? Where?
Pontus had his 3D printer on there for a second.
What was it making?
He looked at his 3D printer. He doesn't have a microphone, so
you know,
we just have to narrate.
Really?
Apparently, he's making a pipe.
Oh, cool. I see it. Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. I mean, you can't smoke with it, right? Isn't it just plastic?
Oh, I'm just bullshitting that it's a pipe. I mean, my next phrase was going to be it's a marital aid, but
Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Pressure. You're muted.
Nope.
No,
Do
my
not-
microphone's back here. Can you hear me now?
There you
Yep,
are.
I hear you.
We hear you.
I'm used to talking to human beings like face to face, so this is something new.
You man.
It is a Velociraptor skull that I'm printing.
Cool.
Nice.
So it's a full size Velociraptor skull. It's a beautiful thing.
Are you printing it all in one big piece, or is it?
It's printing. Yeah, it's printing the top part of the skull, and then the lower jaw is a separate piece, and the teeth are a separate piece.
You put the teeth in yourself?
Yeah, you glue them all in, and they actually look really nice. They're little razor sharp.
Yes.
Needle point teeth.
They're bird teeth, not reptile teeth.
Yeah, it's the skull. I did one once before and gave one away as a gift. So I'm printing out another one because it turned out beautiful. Unless you picked it up and felt it, you couldn't tell that it wasn't real.
Now, velociraptors are just turkey-sized things, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Ostrich, more ostrich-sized.
Oh no, those are the big. Those are like Deinonychus and Utahraptor and so forth. But the actual velociraptor was about as big as a large barnyard fowl.
Oh yeah, who am I arguing with? You're probably absolutely correct. I'm thinking Jurassic Park.
But if you have enough wild turkeys chasing you, it could be pretty terrifying.
I wouldn't want a meat-eating turkey on my ass.
Can also.
Oh, they're very deadly.
You ever had a chicken on your ass? Those are bad enough. Get a rooster after you one time. Holy fuck, you're running.
Though they're not dinosaurs themselves.
They're less than a meter tall.
Dinosaur would be really fuck you up.
This is well, lay it out for you, but this is the stuff that you see in the middle. I don't know if you can hear me.
I need to pop your
I'll change my mic and
rectangle up so that everything becomes visible. But
bear with me for just a moment.
Wait a second. What the fuck am I doing? I can take this with me.
Really, no, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Well, yep. I see your busy atelier, which is clearly a work area. And this is the 3D printer itself. By George, it is in 3D.
Yep. And what you see there, that's the snout that's printing out, and that's the rear of the skull, and up here will be the eye sockets.
Mm-hmm.
The nasal cavity and all that will be in here.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that you see in the middle is just plastic fill for stability.
That's good. How much plastic does it use?
This is going to use, I want to say it's going to be about 10 meters worth of plastic.
Huh.
The plastic is small. It's about the size of 4 thick lengths of fishing line. It's fairly thick fishing line. Actually, I could probably show you. Hold on.
Monofilament, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, here, I'll get a piece.
This big word, monofilament.
Oh, a perfect way to describe it. It's about
monofilament.
A piece of spaghetti. And it comes on rolls.
John Hagenbrenner has a digital 3D scan now of the Dobbs sculpture. Yeah, the bust of Bob, which he made those masks for the Sacramento Doodah Parade. In theory, that mask could, that file, that 3D digital file, it seems like that could be used in a 3D printer and sized, make them small or big.
And mask produced.
Yeah, well, the home 3D printers don't do mass production.
Well, what they do is they make really nice molds.
Right. Then you can mass
produce. You said doo-doo.
They do.
You said
they do. Yes, I did say do.
Good Lord. You do a different one of these.
Hey guys, remember that time Pressure said doo-doo in the chat?
Oh God, that was so funny! Oh, you said doo-doo. That was great. Just found me one of them square gummies.
Well, this is what we do and what we don't do.
The do.
when we go PP.
Doobie a doobie.
Well, now I know him at X Day. It's so far
yeah.
they're going,
Yep.
The entire crowd turns into Beavis and Butthead.
Where's the piano and some
How are you simulating the drinking
chainsaws in the church air?
Have to bring your own. BYO.
The baptism.
While you linger at home and dump a teacup full of water on yourself.
Right, and say, do I reject the conspiracy and accept the slack of chaos Bob drops into my life? I do, and then you splash yourself. That's your Bob.
And there's no one to catch you as you tumble onto the carpet.
Yeah, so put a pillow down. You got to do this outdoors. Can't do it
We're going to do it in the goldfish pond to make it authentic.
I actually can take my camera out on location.
That's goldfish.
In the backyard and spray. I could spray the dogs and baptize them.
I don't believe they've ever been subjected to that ceremony.
No, actually they have not. And in fact, I know that Buddy will just run away and might even break down the doggy door.
What the fuck? Holy shit!
What?
Hello? So,
What happened?
Oh my God! Reverend Nikolai Kingsley is gone.
Ruptured.
Nikolai Kingsley is gone. It's 7 a.m. in Australia, where he was broadcasting from.
It's a Bob miracle.
What happened?
Beautiful. Squid over there.
God,
One
I
down,
wish
40 to go.
People or
That's good.
Rolling rupture.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Exactly.
Or was it the lament?
That's great news. That is fucking great news. That means
I've only got half an hour.
I won't have to work more than. Oh, wait a minute! But you're in Australia too, Moonspender, right?
Half an hour away.
That and you won't
Oh,
half an hour to go. I'm on the hundreds of thousands of Subgini.
Half-hour time zone?
Yeah, right. Because
That's the case. The 8 o'clock slot's open tonight.
Oh, shit, man! I won't have to work after 7 o'clock.
We'll probably see you just vanish from your chair.
I wasted all morning doing a brake job on my car.
Hey, dude, take green bananas off the shopping list.
Are you sure you should be indoors right now?
Oh, I've got 30 minutes to get downstairs.
Yeah, okay. I was going to
Still got time to have some breakfast.
Get in the shelter.
Is Rocknar still there?
Rocknar, was he on?
Yes, he was.
Is he gone?
Well, I didn't see him.
You saw Rocknar.
He's still here.
Looks like a
Just
salsa
not physically.
up Pressure's head. Oh no, it's coming back. They rejected him. They rejected Pressure's
That's a
head.
pretty neat sombrero you've got there.
Hey, I've got the X Day joke of the day if you want to hear it.
Yes.
On.
All right. Why did the mermaid wear seashells?
Oh, I don't know. Why did the mermaid wear seashells?
Because her tits are too big to fit in bee shells.
Wake the drummer.
Congratulations, Haiti. You are the joke of the day.
Thanks.
I hit my leg. Ow, that
The
hurt.
Marine Mammal Center.
I didn't say it was going to be a good joke.
Wasn't one of the mermaids' friends a clam? So, I mean, some clams are her friends and some are her clothing. How does that
Yeah,
work?
that's true. I guess scallops are clothing, and I don't know. Disney rules are weird when it comes to animals.
No, mermaids are just very kinky and very close with their friends.
I was eating with my mother.
Oh, it's just a very curvy clam that's on her boobs.
Yeah, they suckle right onto them.
Where does our mermaid lore come from? Oh, that's a good Dr. House.
Sailors.
Oh, well, the good news was, the good news was Reverend Nikolai Kingsley was here. He's in Melbourne, Australia, and when it turned 7 a.m. for him, he's gone.
Yeah, but he was playing with the lament configuration, man. I hope I trust that.
Yeah, he made it weird. I hope somebody has videotape of that because it seems like I saw it just before he shouted. And I looked at it.
Yeah, I'm videotaping it. The videotape.
Worked and stuff, and it seemed like there was smoke and some kind of a flash, and then suddenly it went black.
Man, I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I got it on videotape.
I'm pretty sure I saw a smiling man right before he just
got that membership card.
Betamax.
And be outside.
Yeah, be outside. You don't want to be torn up to go through your roof, especially if you're at the bottom floor of a skyrise.
Are you safe outside?
Outside now.
But are you safe being outside?
You know, I don't know.
I've got my card ready. I didn't even have my. I wasn't even Reverend Stang when I put that card together.
I never filled it out.
Is that a fetus in the bottom of that bottle?
You would
had a Mickey Sue in the bottom of that bottle. What is that?
You have to come over here and find out.
There's a big chunk of something down there.
Something in a bottle, eh?
Yep.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear
No,
you.
I can hear you. I said you have to come over here and find out. Can you hear
Turn
me?
up.
Can you? Oh, you know what? Because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
We
No, you're
prefer
not.
the term subgenius,
Fun.
Pastor
Well,
Preston.
idiots here.
So much more polite.
Touch.
There. Now I'm talking into the right microphone.
There you go.
What is that in the bottom of that bottle? Is that a fetus?
Dude, I heard you the whole time. Could you not hear me?
What
I
bottle?
could, but nobody else. Apparently, I didn't think anybody else could hear me.
I see.
They may not have been paid.
We might have found a way to have a private conversation in Zoom.
What, speak of reasonable tones?
I just used the wrong microphone and no one else can hear me.
I hear you.
No, just nobody else pays attention.
Huh.
It's just a blender ball.
Well, we could hear you. It was just very faint.
Hey, Chip, that
Like
kind
it's
of looks like what happens if you dissolve the peas cum sock surprise and drink it straight.
That's what. Yeah, it looks like he's dissolved Trilogy soap in that bottle.
Specifically the
the
cum
Trump
sock
cure.
surprise, though.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I was
What was Peas thinking
20
at that time, you know? Do you know?
It's a bottle of disinfectant.
Yep, gotta keep myself clean.
Taking the Trump cure.
Like I said, though, I think $20 is a little bit too pricey for anybody else's cum.
I don't know. A bar of it went for $25 earlier. You know?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, usually people pay me to get that from them. Not the other way around. Hey,
In this
I don't pay
economy,
others.
$20 is $20. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's coming to me, not going out.
I see Molg. I see Molg.
Oh, Mr. Sister joined us too.
Trying to figure out the right levels for making sour cinnamon apple.
I
Right.
just see it. Oh well, yeah, I see Morg.
Morg.
There he is.
The fireball goes quick. Yeah, we're going to give more of that shit.
Is Morg Cult of Zir? Ah,
A blast.
I'm still figuring that out, good sir.
okay. Hey, great to see you. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Old lady in the background. It's the retribution from the angels.
There's Grandpa Mold. He beat us there.
Remember that.
Oh, Mo. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Good Lord.
Okay.
We got 27.
I have a question for Dr. Howell if he'd like to entertain that.
I'll try.
Given the opportunity, would you rather be a robot or a vampire?
Well, let's see. The robot can have the parts replaced. It would depend on what kind of a robot it was. If it was like one of the robot constructions in Rudy Rucker's software, that would be acceptable.
No,
Though
you're a Roomba.
Not
Yeah, vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that you don't want. You don't want to be a vacuum cleaner or a human centipede. A vampire
that was good.
has to mind his P's and Q's. They're fragile, actually. They can live a long time, but they're fragile.
Be a vampire robot.
St. Joyce said being a robot vacuum cleaner would suck.
How about a blood-drawing robot?
Oh!
A critical blood-drawing robot. There are robotics used in heart surgery today. Suppose you have a robot that's function is to phlebotomize the patient.
Exactly where I was going.
Sort of vampire robot, but vampires only drink blood for the symbolism of the thing. They could just lie down next to you and soak up your vitality and steal your youth.
Sounds like dialysis.
They don't actually need to drain your blood, but some of them prefer to do it. On the other hand, many vampires have been around so long that they hardly have any existence, and the blood helps them get a little. Like in a seance, when you're trying to get ghosts and you put a bowl of blood out and you see the level going down very gradually, you know the ghost is present. And they always want blood because God is the biggest ghost, and God also likes blood, as it says in the Old Testament. Blood is the life, and Jehovah drinks it by the gallon. So there you are.
Oh, thank you.
Is there a difference between a vampire robot and a robot vampire?
Well, the robot vampire would be like the robot vampire president in the Hall of Presidents. Some U.S. presidents were vampires.
I recommend that. Whew. It's like lemon pound cake. Damn.
Maybe there'll be a hall of subgenius robots, where we're all represented by some more or less repetitive mechanism.
So what's your brain in a robot body, Hal?
Well, like in software, Rudy Rucker really thought about this. His creation of the boppers, the robots who lived on the moon, who were so grateful that they put Cobb Anderson, the guy who originally designed their programming, in a beautiful plastic body. However, he was cornered by a cop and he had to use the destruct signal to blow himself up and the cop. Next, he found himself in an artificial intelligence inside an ice cream truck. His senses were the senses of the ice cream truck. But he was eventually just overwhelmed and destroyed by rednecks. All the robot mechanisms had to be super cooled, which was why the ice cream truck was a good cover. But the rednecks got into their billy clubs, and the coolant came out. And that's the sad end of that book.
Dr. Hal, you would probably love Neil Stephenson's latest sci-fi novel, Fall.
I've heard about that one. In fact, I saw you reading it last X Day. I just don't have it.
It's great. It's really pretty amazing.
After you die, they store your consciousness digitally in that.
They are sort of an attempt to create an afterlife with recorded memories. They have to pretty much burn out your entire brain in order to scan it at that detail.
And yet this mechanism
you don't remember who you were. In fact, you kind of have to reincorporate your whole body. The first person who does it, luckily, was a game designer who was an expert at creating invented worlds. So he got a basic world-like gist with ground and trees and buildings. It's very simple stuff, and bodies that were roughly like people. It's the first half of it, though, takes place in very near future America. That is, the internet has divided into the people of Ameristan in rural areas, like where I live, for whom the fake news is all the time, and to them it's truth, and only the well-to-do people in the city are able to pay for the service that provides manually filtered internet so that you don't get the fake news. And there's most of the people early in the novel, Moab, Utah is destroyed, only it's fake news. It didn't really happen, but it was convincing enough on the internet that 20 years later, there's still people remember Moab.
I thought that bit was pretty
it's about the real world and a virtual world, and you you learn a lot more about the character of Enoch Root, who runs Cryptonomicon and also the Baroque Cycle.
The Baroque Cycle. Is this book complete in itself, or is it the first of a trilogy that you have to
No, it's complete in itself, although it's a follow-up to Reamdy, which has the same lead characters. Younger. Yeah, Reamdy is more like a cyber thriller. Stevenson, I need to write a book that they could turn into a movie. And that's
yeah.
And then he did kind of not a sequel, but a continuation of the same. It's the same characters, families, I should say. It's the same families as in the Baroque Cycle, the Shaftos and the Waterhouses.
Right. Then you get into World War II with Cryptonomicon.
I don't know how familiar you are with the Baroque Cycle, but I'm nearing my fourth reading of it.
Pretty dense.
It's a lovely thing. It'll really entertain you.
Gordon has also read it 4 times. It's 3,000 pages long. That's why
he wrote with a quill pen. He wrote that.
It's more like it gives you a feeling of satisfaction.
He wrote it longhand because that's the way they did it in the
with a quill.
Oh, jeez.
Thousands of pages long. With
I read Cryptonomicon about once a year.
I'm so jealous of Neil Stevenson. I he'll cut his fingers off so he can't write anymore.
What's the state of the script to the Subgenius movie?
Oh, I got dissatisfied with it, and I feel like I need to work Teeter's the novella of Teeter's La Verge, The Agent and Mr. Dobbs, needs to be kind of randomly interwoven with it because it's got too much of the fictitious Stang and Drummond and Dave and not enough Bob. And Teeter's depictions of Bob are perfect. They're just about the best. Nikolai Kingsley has Bob at the beginning of his book, and it's really good. It matches the Teeters and Mavrides' fictional versions of Bob, and I've done that Third Fist thing, but that was more of a Doc Savage salute.
Mine was
Overall, the Third Fist is the best story I've read in the book.
Which?
In the Third Fist book.
Yeah, which was the best story?
Yours.
You must be retarded.
Well,
it's a takeoff on
Michael Pepe.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word. It's a takeoff on the pulp hero Doc Savage. It's
right
in a style that completely imitates Kenneth Robeson. In fact, I deliberately used a couple of paragraphs directly from The Land of Terror, Doc Savage.
Yeah,
just to see if anybody would catch it, you know.
Yeah, but the next one that does H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, come on.
Well, okay, there was there's some great stories in there. John Shirley's 1998 story is fabulous. Robert Anton Wilson's is really funny. Hal's and Paul Mavrides are great.
Did you like Michael Pepe?
There's one by Nancy Collins that didn't get into the book because of really stupid reasons, and when we reprint it, I'll include hers, which was a romance novel.
Love's Throbbing Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to do, takeoffs on existing
genres.
David Meyer did a pirate story.
I think that's successfully done through the book.
My favorite story in there is Michael Pepe's.
Yeah, his
I
is
haven't gotten to his yet. Mind
there's
you, I had a
an
little
interview
hiccup.
with God, where he goes into God's office and God's behind the desk and so on. The
Oh,
detail
that my
is wonderful.
That whole book is on subgenius.com under the classics section.
Yeah, you can read it for free and sit on the chair looking at the screen until your eyes run down your cheeks and your bones.
I actually get it read by then.
That book had big names in it, like Robert Anton Wilson. Well, he's not that famous. William S. Burroughs.
Yeah, he was
and it was the worst selling of any.
Nobody's interested in actually reading stories about this stuff. Well, few people are.
I was
Surprised Burroughs had a piece in it.
Reverend Stain,
Captain
Blackout has shown up.
Oh yeah, I know. He's been hanging around being Captain Blackout. He's
For the
the
record, I've read through those stories and I'm currently reading through those stories, and my husband is also reading through those stories. So you've got a few people reading through those
That's
stories.
great. Having fun with the book?
That's the first.
We're loving it. I really
No, there you go.
want to sit down and pick it, talk to
Your book
some of
finds
y'all
one-
after
As a matter
I
of
process
fact,
it.
we did kind of start a half-assed audiobook version.
Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Stang.
I have an audiobook version of my story. I think John Shirley did one.
Hey, Stang.
Goes when I get my.
I finished your story, Stang, and I gotta say that was some real Bob shit. Like that was good.
It's
I was
actually
thoroughly
pretty
entertained.
juvenile.
It was, but it like Bob, it had just the right balance, and I can appreciate. It was very because Bob has a Bugs Bunny kind of quality to him, so it worked out.
Yeah, that's
really
right.
well.
That's exactly right. Bugs Bunny is in some ways one of the closest movie characters to Bob. We didn't realize that for a long time.
Do a whole treatise on the
Well, and that
with Bob Dobbs. Please, dear God, don't. Please, dear God, don't.
Bugs Bunny, Humphrey Bogart, and Bob Dobbs.
Well, I rewatched Malcolm in the Middle a while back, and I realized that Hal is totally a Bob. At least at first.
Stang, I'm also a big fan of the Agent and Mr. Dobbs, especially your version of it that you read aloud on the Hour of Slack.
Oh,
So much so that I edited the bits of it out into a hour-and-a-half long audio book as like a continuous long audio file. It's pretty great.
Sounds quite entertaining.
I did. We did have. What is that stuff?
You read like the whole thing across like 5 hours of Slack.
I did?
Yeah. I went in and I painstakingly cut them all out and put them into one file so I could listen to them.
Gee, thanks for reminding me.
If you want a copy of that, I could just send it to you.
Sure. Well, I mean, technically, I've probably got the original here somewhere, but I don't remember if I did that over a bunch of shows or if I did.
I think you just did it live on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it didn't sound like there was any edit. It was just you would just go into it.
Huh.
So.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, I'll send that over.
Too bad we couldn't get Bill Burroughs reading his.
Yeah. I'm surprised he did a piece for the book.
He didn't do it for the book. He already had it. And it was funny. It was kind of funny the way that worked out. We had no contact with William S. Burroughs, none. But we still were with Simon and Schuster, and I think our budget was $5,000. And we just tried to reach out to anybody who might throw something our way. And Burroughs had this assistant who's an agent, partner, whatever, who we were told by our agent said, well, I doubt if Mr. Burroughs is going to do anything with this. So this is pretty obscure. We don't know anything about it. But we later learned that when the guy showed Burroughs the offer, Burroughs went, oh, Bob, praise Bob. Heck yeah, I've got just the thing for him. But I want twice as much as everybody else gets. So he got, I think, $600 for this essay about Jim Jones that didn't actually have a goddamn thing to do with Church of the Subgenius, except that it was about a
God
cult.
bless Burroughs,
And it was
man.
had William S. Burroughs' name on it. Not that that did us any good in sales whatsoever.
But
And
in credibility,
we didn't
it
actually
did
have rights
wonders.
to that. I could republish that on CreateSpace or whatnot, Amazon.com, but I've been saying that about a lot of things for a long time.
Publisher has to give you a good distribution.
Keep having to go water my
I had to get mine on eBay.
or walk the dogs. I keep having, and that stupid show, that fucking weekly show.
If your books buy the gum at the airport, you'll sell 1 million copies.
Right. Well, those airport books, you know, the conspiracy decides what's going to be an airport book.
And everywhere
They pay for all the other books that don't even sell 10,000 copies. The average published book doesn't sell 10,000 copies.
Wow.
Neighbor World has sold over 200. But that's all.
I have my copy.
Hey, y'all have signed copies?
My copy.
Well, I sign the little forward at the end now. I didn't used to. I had Dave sign a few of them at first that we brought to the last X Day. But
Wow, you signed mine, Stang. That's cool. I never realized it.
Shabula, you know, I'd have to ship him a box of books, have him sell them, sign them. But I'm not sure that Dave would actually be capable of shipping them back to me.
Yeah. That's what I was waiting for to buy one, was to get one from Dave so I could get it signed.
I bought mine off of Amazon like an idiot. I shouldn't have done that.
A lot of things that involve the real world and people and stuff.
Heck, if I'd known they were signed at X Day, though, I would have bought one from you.
Yeah.
We didn't have many. We had like 10 or so, I think.
That's the only reason why I buy Dead Tree books, is because I can get them signed.
I never realized you signed it until I looked at it, Stang.
Oh. Well, I always sign the Subgenius, Book of the Subgenius, but that's really the only one that we have besides Dave's book, Neighbor World, right now.
What about Rev X? Do you have any of those? No Revelation X?
No. Well, I have my own collection that I bought on eBay when they were cheap.
I have get some of mine.
30 of the Bibliographon in a box in the shed. They're cherry copies that were the last ones published, I think. And I'm saving those for when you and Lemur and Imbiger and all the other artists lose your copy. Similar with the Inwo
Mysterious Fire.
Jackson Games World Order cards.
Wasn't there something to do with selling?
I've got about 30.
I wanted those cards.
And I'm saving them for when the artists lose their copy.
Now, what card
that
were
game?
those?
The Illuminati game?
Jackson Games one. That was the one that Paul told me. I called him up and said, "Hey, maybe you and Hal can do some artwork for this." And Paul said, "No, we don't need any stupid Subgenius jobs. We're not going to do that anymore."
I wish I'd known about it.
And I ended up doing a whole lot of the graphics myself in CG because what we didn't have were illustrations of X Day. So I kind of copied Jehovah's Witness paintings in Bryce and Poser.
That always works.
But Steve Jackson was actually disappointed. He was hoping that he was going to get a whole lot of nice ink drawings by John Hagenbrenner and you and the old gang, but everything it was the 90s and everything got so digital. And
I was doing cards for gum companies at that time.
Right, I know, that's what's so ridiculous about it. We could go back in time and
hey, who knows what the new Genius movie
kick Paul's ankle under
I have to reprint.
That's about it.
Dr. Hal, I have a question for Dr. Hal. How did you get started doing the Half-Life video games? And are there any plans to, do more Half-Life games and maybe get you into the voice of other video games?
Well, I can't see who's talking here, but I'll be happy to answer that question.
Oh my God, you did that voice?
Yeah.
What was
You did that voice, that scientist.
Dr. Isaac Kleiner.
Oh my God, I can hear it now. Oh my God. That is so cool. That is so
sad.
The fact is there is a new
Shut up, Stang.
game. It's been released. You may know about it, but it's produced by different people. The same writer is not on the job. It's not from Mark Laidlaw, who created the whole concept of all the versions of the game. So if they want to get me for their next series, whoever is doing it, they haven't asked me to. But if they do, there is also a problem, because I let my dues, my union dues, lapse, and
That's
so now
SAG or what?
I'd have to.
Voice
Well,
Actors
I was a
Union?
member of AFTRA, the American Federation of Radio and Television Artists. That merged with SAG when I worked in Hollywood. I got my card, but then to do video games or whatever you call them, I had to go up to the Microsoft campus in Seattle. And what ended up happening is, in order to be paid for anything, the check had to go down to Hollywood, then travel slowly up to Washington, where it would sit on an old lady's desk for months until I called her up and said, hey, I worked on so-and-so. I was wondering about my check. And she would say, oh, why, here it is right here. I have it. I'll just send it along. Her name was Ina something. So now anyone who wants to work would have to pay $3,000 so I could work. And I don't think anybody wants to do that. But back in the day, Valve would pay all these fees that I had allowed to lapse. If you're not actually in a movie or anything, it's a real expensive thing to pay these dues, and I've often cut the corners. So now I'm kind of unhireable, I think, unless you're so rich that you want to pay back dues.
Yeah.
What?
But at least they started Half-Life again, and so that could be good. There, as long as something's happening, others can build on it. And there have been a lot of interesting amateur Half-Life simulations that have been pretty good, with a pretty slick
Have you seen a program called Gary's Mod?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty famous.
Yeah, Gary's Mod is beautiful. It's basically Half-Life, but you have God mode, and you can just create whatever you want. You can create whatever map you want. You can spawn whatever you need to, and you can have all kinds of weird little, godlike powers. You can summon monsters and fight them.
When I was in the Microsoft building, they showed me a living zoo of Half-Life characters, a digital one, So you go in this enclosure, there's a so-and-so, and they're moving. It's like they're trying to get out, but they had the whole thing there. That was the first time I saw Vortigaunt and things like that. The last voiceover for software I did was for a sort of an elf character named Tinker.
Hal, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
I may have mentioned once or twice. My husband and I are developing an animated series. I didn't know you did voiceover work. But I'm really liking your voice at the moment, and I think I have a character I'd like you to read lines for, if that's at all possible, because we're working with a couple of directors from Rick and Morty and Paradise, and we're going to put together an animatic, and we need voice.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Maybe when I do have a guy I record things with, we have to get this pandemic thing behind.
Of course, yeah.
Or I could even do it at the radio station once the podcast is going again.
For now, it would be a temp track thing, so it wouldn't have to be super official.
Well, I could do it over the phone. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'll be happy to do anything like that.
Great. I will email you our treatment, and it's about the occult, and you seem to be one of the few one of the people in here who actually seems to know the lingo. So it's about Victorian occult societies. I think you'd be into it. Yeah. So cool. Thanks. That's my question. I'm done.
You contact me. You can do that through Stang, of course. also. I can't remember what I was Tinker in. That was the last thing I recorded.
Oh, is that League of Legends?
It's the pew 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 one that now.
Arma? What was that? I forget the name of that.
Me too. I have forgotten it. It was years ago. Everything blurs together.
Let me look it up. I thought it was League of Legends.
Seemed to be launching magic spears against an army of advancing.
That's it. Dota 2.
Dota 2. That was the one.
It. Dota 2.
That's a very popular game.
Yeah.
That's like super popular.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Half-Life is super popular.
They didn't have to distort my voice to do the obnoxious little elf, but I did that for them. So
I think Hal would be great in a Fallout video game, but
what the hell he is?
Well, no.
There's never going to be another good one, though.
Yeah,
I don't think
Bethesda
so.
Software's ruined it.
There's always room for improvement.
If you ever actually voice act in how you could appeal to the fans and maybe get them to like kickstart you the fees or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch and subscribe to a channel for Dr. Hal playing Cuphead.
Oh my
That
god,
would be
you're driving
rad.
nuts.
That would be rad. Oh, that
Yes.
game is so hard, though. It's so hard.
It's a challenge.
Hal, basically, we want you to read for like an Aleister Crowley character.
Ray Harryhausen almost moved into Aleister Crowley's house, but that's another story.
That's pretty cool. I know he had quite a few. Is this the one in California?
Can you tell us the story?
The story was that he and his wife Diana, who they met in the 62 or 3, I think, during the filming of Jason and the Argonauts. She's a descendant of Livingston, as in Stanley and Livingston, Dr. Livingstone, I presume. Anyway, they were looking for a new house in London, and they tried this place out, and they felt there was just something about it that they didn't like. And
Oh, that story. Yes, I've heard that one. Yeah.
interesting. Well, you see, everybody's
the devil there. Some...
only a few degrees of separation.
Yeah, we have a lot of the Golden Dawn characters. We have sort of fictional analogies for them.
Well, did you
We have a
ever read
Blavatsky.
those Dennis Wheatley occult novels?
Which one?
Dennis Wheatley books, like his most famous one, which was made into a Hammer.
I saw the movie.
It's called The Devil Rides Out. You see that one?
I'll have to add that to my list.
They do like
Christopher Lee's in it. Is Peter Cushing?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's
Yeah.
decent.
It takes all this stuff of like 20th century occultism really seriously, and he has a character sort of like Doctor Who type character who is in a number of these books, and I think might be in The Devil Rides Out. It's been years since I saw that.
They put
But-
the warning.
Sounds right up our alley, though.
But they, you can get the whole occult background of that era just by reading those books.
Oh yeah, we've been doing research for literally the past 3 years. So I've read through or flipped through quite a few novels at this point, but I haven't seen
In
those.
addition to novels, there's a giant book which Stang has a copy of, and which I used to have a copy of, but through unfortunate circumstances no longer do, called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard that name, yes.
That's a great book. That's an
Yeah,
amazing
it's
book.
a folio volume.
That's-
Hey, you got it, right?
Yeah, actually, there was
You've got the deluxe version
take with you
with the special binding.
as if there was going to be any limit. But yeah, the Secret Teachings of All Ages would be a good one to take with you.
It's got some
That's
crap
one
in it,
I'm
but
writing
it's
down right now.
overall a really good summary of everything esoteric.
Yeah, it really is, and it's got great artwork and diagrams and charts. I will tell you that
Pictures of unknown gods and so on.
some sections of Book of the Subgenius were put together with that book, The Secret Wisdom of All Ages, open.
Okay.
There. My dad had that book. He has the gold cover.
Well, if you were a Mason, it would.
Yeah, he was a 32nd degree Mason. He's really into it.
Be a high up Mason to get that one.
He wanted me to have.
Yeah, we have a parody. We have a parody because our show.
He died. How's that? And it was. We took a lot of hints from that book, specifically for charts and illustrations in Book of the Subgenius. You know, it's like, okay, we're doing the occult. What's the best occult?
Yeah.
And
you guys actually had. That's what part of why we were impressed was because.
Ever. Don't bother with it. It's not worth it.
By the way, I mentioned my father was a Mason. He was really into it.
Right.
And his tombstone, he was cremated, but we have stone markers down the hill for my mom and my dad. It was up to me to do my dad's tombstone, and
that's cool.
We put Navy emblems on the front of it. He was a captain in the Navy, Naval Reserve, and on the back there. And Masonic. Yeah, it's a 32nd degree Masonic thing and a Captain Navy thing on the front, but on the back there's Bob, a high contrast Bob.
Amazing.
And Billiken. Billiken is this little impish devil of the Masons, of a splinter.
Oh, yes.
Right? Called the Jesters. The Jesters have a somewhat frightening reputation for bad behavior behind the scenes in motels. And my dad was really involved in the Jesters. Billiken is a Bob-like character. He's a little fat imp with the same kind of grin and a little crown that says mirth across it. And I had Billiken and Bob put on the back of my dad's tombstone. And then
badass tombstone.
We set the tombstones for my mom and dad so that they were facing just a little away from each other because they fought. So we thought, let's be kind and put their representative stones not right looking in the same direction, but just slightly off kilter with Bob.
I love that.
It costs about $2,000 to do a cheap tombstone.
Yeah, it's a racket.
The tombstone for our friend Jeff Rosenbaum was done on granite that looks like outer space. That was $5,000.
Dang, I don't know if you ever saw this little fetish demon that I picked up. As you can see, he has an erection here.
Pazuzu!
Pretty good, eh? Some metal. I don't know what the metal is.
That's like a low-budget The Exorcist devil.
Well, you see he's fully erect there. Maybe you can't. You have to
I know. You don't have to show me again.
All right. No, but that makes it rarer. That
I've got a bunch of dirty little Asian toys down there on the Buldada altar. Actually, I'm about to go. I've got to go water my plants. So I'm going to do a tour, a location tour.
Well, before you go, what is the plan for 7 o'clock a.m., which for me is 4 o'clock in the morning?
No, for you it'll be 7 a.m.
My 7 a.m.
Yeah, Western.
It's rolling rupture.
Don't you want me to peg into this?
Sure, if you want. I'm going to try to get up at
It gets harder.
I would love to join our English and our European, Russian, and Chinese brothers and sisters, but we don't know.
I can wake up around 5. I'm on Pacific.
We do know them, but they're not tuned in. So I was going to try to see the East Coast X Day, and that means I have to be there at 6. But I only have to get up early once a year, so I'm not bitching. I might go to bed early. You know, I've been known to do that at X Days. I'll go to bed long before everybody else does because I have to get up and have everybody stare at me at 7 in the morning for an hour.
Stang, do you want me to try to record
well
from like
refreshed
2 a.m. until like 8 a.m.?
I was planning
no,
to
actually, no. It would have to
next
go
day,
fast.
Central Time next day, and maybe Mountain Time next day. But I think for your X day, Dr. Howell, I'm going to have a little sign here that says, "I'm going to bed. Fuck you."
Well,
that's my plan. It's actually,
I'm just gonna wake up early. I think, like extra early.
what I'm not going to do is stay up all night. I learned my lesson early on. Don't drop acid and stay up all night.
What?
But
I was just going to do that.
Kids do that every year.
Best way to do it.
I'm staying up till 7.
Well, lots of people do, but my old serotonin levels don't bounce back like they used to, honestly.
Some of my old buddies would wake themselves up with their alarm clock, then they'd drop acid and go back to bed. So when they woke up again.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Reverend Stang, I wanted Reverend Stang, I wanted to point out real quick that about 10 minutes ago, Reverend Boonspender disappeared off the channel.
I see his name though.
Yeah, but he's not there.
Yeah, he's in Australia, so
well, he's a little bit west of Melbourne, right?
he's gone. Yeah,
he got ruptured.
Australians vanish.
About 10 minutes ago, he popped off. He's gone.
Maybe a bunion.
What his credit was 20 all along.
Actually, as we suspected, the saucers are lined up north to south over the planet and letting it turn underneath while they kind of vacuum.
Geosynchronous orbit.
Yeah, they just stay in one place. The Earth turns underneath. This is the first time we've had evidence of that because, like, I forget what city Boonspender was in, but it's not the same one as Kingsley. So it's not some random 7 a.m. It's an analog, as it moves along.
As
it's
the world
it's like a
turns.
beam that just kind of slowly kind of Xerox copies the Earth.
So I don't know who. I have 2 Zoom things open. I'll turn this one down. So I really do have to go. Why is it still echoing?
It's actually
It's the saucer.
There it goes.
I'm still here though.
You're everywhere.
Will be he dead.
Nice. I'll have to remember that when I go for dinner.
Well, before I usually drop out, but we go to the chat room, which is where we are already. So.
Yes, we're already here.
Yes, that's efficiency for you.
Oh, it's Fat Man D and Tommy Amoeba. Hey,
where?
They're here.
We've been creeping.
Oh, there they are. Yeah.
We've been creeping a little bit. We're just kind of figuring out our set list for tonight and touching ourselves, looking at you a little bit.
We posted a blackout show last time.
It's so nice to see everybody. I think there's more people here than the last time I actually went in real life.
Well, things had fallen upon lean times.
I don't know. I'm of the opinion that Reverend Stang gave us the COVID so that he could stay home and take care of the dogs. That's my working theory.
Yeah, everything has to be done with those dogs.
No, I did it so I could have X-Day and air conditioning. Oh my God, there's a kitty. There's a kitty on the back of a chair.
Oh, so many kitties.
Looking guilty. Oh, guilty.
Hi, wee mama.
Hi, Meemaw.
Hi, Meemaw.
Fat Mandy is waving to you.
Hi, Meemaw.
Fat Mandy.
Oh, Fat Man.
Hi, wee mama.
Yeah, I can't hear anybody though.
I can't hear anybody at X-Day either.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Can't hear it.
Yay! Oh, there's the flaming head. Oh.
Well, I better get back to the mother.
I can't hear what's going on here.
So I do it.
Hey. Princess Wee, can you give her like an iPad with a headset?
I have to go. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Hello.
I'm taking.
Hello.
Everything's working fine.
They're not going
You're
to.
recording.
Everything's working fine.
You can record this on your individual laptop.
I think I have to start all over again.
Just by
You're doing good.
I feel that way most days.
1 foot in front of the other, Stang.
And the other one in the grave.
Nope,
Yes.
Sting here.
Ooh.
Death is
Sting got
always in control.
I'm gonna do I have room on me here?
Captain Blackout says there's no butt hurt, and frankly, I don't give a rat's ass if I get in or not. Just in case anybody's worried about what Captain Blackout has to say.
We told him he needs to talk to Susan.
He apparently doesn't have a webcam and has never zoomed before, so.
Well, that's his problem.
He got
his
banned
problem.
from the seminar room last night when he dropped an N-bomb.
Oh yeah, no,
And
fuck that guy.
So Rocknar is telling him to take it up with Susan, who actually has nothing to do with it, but it would be pretty funny if he started bitching at Susan.
Susan.
Oh, that's our blackout, though. Come on now.
That's for Blackout to figure out who Susan is.
I thought Blackout's goal was to get kicked out of every Sub-Genii event. I thought that was his whole shit.
He's just like a Jainer then.
Wait,
No, he's different than Jainer. He's way different than Jainer.
who got kicked out?
Iron of winning.
Blackout.
It's a little bit funny. Blackout's not.
Oh, what did he do?
Oh, 80, did I just hear the shade?
He was quoting
that's
Dave
crazy.
Chappelle, and he dropped an N-bomb.
Oh dear.
Bad boy. Bad
Well, that's unfortunate.
Hello, Fat Mandy. How are you?
I'm good. We're not dead. Yay!
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 10
I got
little
one of these.
monkeys sitting in a tree.
I got a fan, except it pulls my hair into it, so I just hang it on the computer now.
I have lost so much hair to fans.
So I just kind of gave up.
My hair, so I don't have to have that problem.
Yeah.
I don't know who the asshole is, but damn.
Figure out our set list for tonight. Tommy has 6 costume changes.
Wow.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Production number.
You guys have a show?
Apparently
Oh, yeah.
from 10 p.m. to 11 on the main stage in the other chat room.
Oh, fantastic.
10 to 11 Eastern time. I don't know where everybody is.
Eastern.
Central.
I'm a Florida man.
Yeah, so converted from Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Central would be 9 p.m. Eastern time. Or, yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Central, 9 p.m. Central. Okay, there's an Australian board. And I'm texting David Apocalypse and Andrew the Impaled. They're trying to figure out how to Zoom.
Sure, they'll get it.
It's gonna be awesome to see what you're gonna pull off, Fat Mandy.
I'm not pulling off anything. It's the husband who's stripping tonight. I'm here for emotional and audio support. I'll see.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
What time is open for like XX fortune telling reading?
I'm going to have to look at the schedule. It's floating around here somewhere.
A floating.
Yeah, I'm floating around too, so that's fine. Anytime.
How do you feel about late this evening, which is kind of early-ish for you?
That'd be perfect for me. And I feel like the late evening vibe for you guys might add to it.
Actually, Dr. Fox and I were talking about that early this morning.
Dr. Fox is going to be burning a bob at midnight Eastern Standard Time, just so everybody knows.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
That might be a good time for you to maybe do if you want to go on in the seminar area. And if anybody wants
Like time.
People can just submit questions to me, and I'll just address the questions somehow. I'm new to hosting a meeting or having host mode or whatever, but I'll figure it out.
Everybody does it the first time at least once. Sometimes
Yes,
twice.
sir. But yeah, so 10 p.m. Eastern time, a little before that then?
Here?
Fat Man D is going to be on at 10. And Fat Man D, you and Tommy are off at what, 11? You're doing an hour?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go from 10 p.m. Eastern time to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
I could do midnight then if you guys don't have anything then.
The burning of Bob is happening at midnight.
Yeah, that's a pretty important sacrificial.
So how do you feel about 1 a.m. Eastern time?
Yeah, that works. That works
All right.
just fine.
I love that weird Paul shirt.
Thank you.
Whoop whoop.
We got you then at 1 a.m.
Between 11 and midnight.
And actually, for you, that's really kind of a cool shift. That's like 11.
Yeah, that's not bad for me at all. I'm usually fropped up and riled and ready to rant about Bob. So.
You will have to be. All right.
I got Ambien. I got lots of supplies here.
You're my hero.
You're my hero.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. We're each other's hero. That's nice.
so sweet.
5 minutes.
Ambien is good.
Come on.
Go lift off.
Is there a time I could text David Apocalypse and Andrew and let them know is open? Is there like any opening slots anywhere where Andrew could do something from Circus Apocalypse? Do we know?
Who's the stage manager?
The floating schedule is floating.
Yes. There's nobody to sign off on.
Oh shit!
When Stang returns, he can be your advocate for
an
the
hour
time
early to
period.
rehearse.
It wasn't me.
So they're actually going to have the seminar area from 7 o'clock until 10. We have it blacked out for them. So.
7 to 10.
I don't want to spring like, well, we've got time open right now, and so I don't want to spring that on them.
Do it. It's X stage. Just go run on stage.
This year you can run all over stage.
Aren't they?
All right, it's Ferg.
They're in Pittsburgh, aren't they?
Yeah, they're half a mile from my house.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay. So they're Eastern time.
Yes.
Tell you what, that beer's really good.
I mean, if an hour is too much time for us, we could cut our set a little bit.
How about 11 to 12 Eastern? Then we're going to have the Bob burning at 12. That'd be perfect. So
You want me to tell them 11?
I'm sorry?
You want me to tell them 11 p.m. Eastern time?
Yeah, that'd be great. And they've got an hour. So if that'd be all right with them.
Okay, I'll call them right now.
All right, most
I'll
excellent.
mute myself and call them.
Thank you very much.
Can you add it to the schedule?
No.
Does?
Controlling
Can you send him an
Did
email?
you know that you're my hero?
You're the wind beneath my wings.
Hey, 80, I'm trying to get your brother over here tonight.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, he's supposed to bring his tent.
What a freak.
I know. I'm going to get him all shit-faced.
Oh, my God. Oh, he'll never shut up.
I know. And I'm going to cut him loose on the neighbors.
Yes, that's right. I introduced my biological brother to the church, and he joined. And now he's better known in the church than I am.
That's what you get.
I know, right? It's like, hey, this is my thing.
Yep.
My brother would never.
Hey, Ferg, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
Miss your face, brother.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has, man. We need to do a trip to each other. Meet in the middle or meet at one other's house, one or the other.
Yeah, I need to get back to Greenfield soon.
I still tell stories of your strawberry Mexican ale.
What now?
Your strawberry Mexican ale from about a decade ago.
Oh, right.
I've never had a beer better yet.
Are you serious? It came out good?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was
Is
like
anyone going on a beer run? I'll give you
and then
20 bucks.
strawberries when you exhaled.
Well, Joyce,
Snosberries too, like snosberries.
Oh, Natty Light negative? Boy, you're just hitting top notch there.
I'm for the man. Come on now.
Hey guys, you guys bring chairs?
It ain't all right.
Still have a
unless
couple
it's Natty
Lone
Light.
Stars if anyone's real desperate.
That's a colorful display.
I got just hard liquor over here. Soft hard liquor.
Candy is candy, but
Light 70 proof stuff.
well, this is the moment of jumping.
There, I've got the unusual battle situation set up.
Into the deep end.
Dr. Howell, I have one last question for you.
Say quick, I say. I bid thee say quickly.
How many spiders could you fit into a human skull?
What species are you talking about? The giant Theraphosa blondie would be crowded with anybody else in there. But many are tiny little things that would be... The question is, how many spiders would there be after a while? And the answer is one bat. They're not social creatures, though I have beheld underground places where that rule is broken. But generally, you can't have spiders next to each other because they will simply eat each other up, which is why it's always been so difficult to produce spider silk stockings much more strong and beautiful than silkworm silk stockings. But you can't, each spider has to be individually housed and the silk reeled off. Nonetheless, it has been done. Some of the czars.
Hal, may I interrupt you for just a moment? Hey, folks, if you could all mute your mics if you're not actually speaking, we're getting some background noise and it's drowning out speakers.
Oh, that's all right. I think
you just want to see my background noise.
I'm going to take off, but thanks for everything.
Oh, Dr. Howell, it's great to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Oh, I will.
Thank you, Dr. Howell.
And maybe I'll definitely
the saucers tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, yes. Mañana.
Praise Hal.
Oh, Hal. Hey, meow.
Oh, he hung
Hal, it's Chaosmic Bobcat. Bye.
He's my hero. I love Dr. Hal.
He left. I missed him.
He's a good
blast
guy.
it.
But this is a good way to see him.
And then there was silence.
This is probably a good point for me to end. Wait a minute. Who's got the echo going?
Madam Calamity, we have a break in our conversation. Is there anything you'd like to advertise?
Triology soaps.
Can I advertise something?
Sure.
Every night on freethinkradio.com, 10:30, Negative at Night. Join there. You'll get to find out what's in my pocket if you choose to play along in the game. And every once in a while, some good characters show up.
Every night, or is that just Thursday nights on Facebook?
It's every night, Thursday night.
Negative is I have not seen you in person before.
I've not seen me in person before either.
All right. Yeah, outside of Mastodon, or Dobstown.
Dobstown, yeah. Oh, Big John, there you are, bud.
Hello.
There's so many people on here. Okay.
Right.
My eyes are trying to focus. But yeah, like every Thursday night, I do a little radio show on Freethink Radio. Join in. It's dumb. It's fun. Some genius quality type shit.
So we have a tradition that we're starting up here. If there's any like breaks in the conversation where 25 people are in the room, just everybody's looking at each other and nobody quite knows what to say. if anybody has anything that they want to advertise at all, please feel free to throw it out there. We're happy to hear what you got going on, and we're like, do you have an opportunity to
advertisements, auctions, whatever?
$5 foot long.
Where do I start?
Strictly speaking, does it have to be legal?
If it's legal in your area, like
Oh.
Three Rivers Dispensary, that's where I got the gram of Space Cadet wax last night.
Oh, cool! I'm gonna send you a FedEx envelope and cash. I'll be.
Don't do FedEx, do USPS.
We're in
They need a
Texas.
warrant
We're
to
not in
search
Lightning.
your mail.
Support the Postal
FedEx.
Service.
Yes, FedEx is a private company. They don't need a warrant to search your mail. USPS does need a warrant to search your mail.
Yeah,
That's a little tidbit there.
Good information to know.
You're here.
I have something to advertise. Everyone's sick of hearing it, but it's still, day before X Day. I'm making a cartoon, and I need a fucking green light. We've got, I don't know, directors from Rick and Morty working on it. We've got people who've worked for Netflix all on board. All we need is someone to just give us a fucking green light. So
I got an LED system on my patio, and I can change it to whatever color you need. I even have green.
hell yeah, dude.
That would be green.
I give you a purple light.
Do you have a webpage or anything for this that I can look at?
For the show?
Yeah. Is there some kind of crowdfunding?
I have a treatment. I can just sort of post it to, I guess you guys have like a forum, right? A shrug.
We almost have 40 fucking people in here. Wow.
All right, this is hell of a X Day.
Hell yeah. Record turnout.
There is an overflow channel I'll be firing up, so if anybody it gets a little noisy in here or crowded, or you want to have a more private conversation, go out to gonzotronics.com.
I don't like being in the same chat room as Agent Lloyd. It bothers me.
What if I just wanted to have a chat with that one girl?
I find Agent Lloyd offensive, personally.
I'm only a little bit racist,
And
but
we
mainly because I'm
ban him
white.
for no reason. Oh, look at that stupid beard. Oh, what
I
a
see
gay
it.
mustache.
It hangs to the
Oh
left.
my
You know
God.
that, right, Lloyd?
Oh,
I
look
see
at
it
the
control his
hairline.
Cincinnati. What more do you
I'll
want?
be that one girl. Come on, let's meet up. Sterno.
Hey, what's going on?
You don't even have a
Let's
beard.
go
The
talk
worst. Agent Lloyd's the worst.
I don't have a beard.
Cosmic Bobcat.
Hell, I don't know. I don't know a goddamn thing. I don't know a fucking thing.
What did I miss?
There's a lot of body hair going on here.
I guess the Australian feed went dead at 7 a.m. Australia
They're
time.
all dead.
Yeah,
They're
they're
gone.
all dead.
Everybody's gone.
Good to know. This could be the year. Finally.
Yeah, this time it's time.
That's
Either
what I
that or
said.